I have had requests to do vintage hair tutorials. So we're going to start with this style. Let's get into it.
You don't really need anything that special for this. I have a drugstore Garnier Fructis Pecan Air 1-inch, bobby pins or alligator clips just to keep your curls in place while they're cooling down, basic hairbrush. I found that this soft bristle brush can really help to blend the curls together, and this is what they used for vintage retro hairstyles. And then something to tease if you want more volume. Okay, so let me just break down the curl pattern for you. It's really simple. You're just going to alternate curling down and curling up every single row. That's what gives you the S-curve pattern. So I like to start on the bottom layer, inward curl, and I like to end on an inward curl. That's what I found looks the best and blends the best. So that means that you'll need an odd number of layers. I like to do the big swoop first. I will section out a little area that will make that swoop. I used to go really big with the swoop, but sometimes when you go big, there's little gaps that can show because it's too high. So it doesn't look great from every angle. So something to consider, where I find that a little bit smaller of a swoop can look better. But if you're doing something like taking photos or taking video and you're only going to be at certain angles, I feel like a big swoop looks really nice. But in person, I kind of opt for a smaller swoop because I think this is the most important component of the styles. I do this first so that it has a longer time of setting so that you really maximize that swoop and keep it all together. Oh, and by the way, I'm wrapping around the barrel, not using the clip, and then I will just slide the hair out and then pin it. I like to use alligator clips for this part, and to keep the hair down, I'll sometimes add another piece to keep it all together like that. I'm going to separate out the first layer like this. Just clip the rest of my hair up. This will be a layer going down, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So downward means it's going in a downward direction, where upwards means I would be going this way, curling it up. This is going down. So we'll alternate between those two. But like I said, I like to start on a down layer, and that's what we're gonna do. And I like to wrap it around the barrel. I have used it with the clamp, and it works pretty much fine too. And the other thing with this is you can do this wet set. If your hair is a little damp, you can curl with your finger, pin it down really good, sleep with it overnight, and then you have a heatless version of it. Okay, if you are not that good at getting it out of the clamp, so let's just say you messed up, you couldn't slide it out. I will just take my finger and twirl it around my finger, and it happens to be around the same size. Slide your finger out. So now we're going down again. This whole layer, we're doing the same. I have tried to do hair tutorials several times because I get asked for them on Instagram and TikTok. Every single time something has gone catastrophically wrong, and it's actually really difficult to do, but I'm feeling good about it this time. I do one side at a time, by the way. In the next layer, we're gonna go the opposite direction to get the S-curve. It's really beautiful when you do it all downward too. It's a different kind of look. Now we're going up. Here's another tip. When you're going up, you put the barrel above, you put it up. Where you're going downward, you put it underneath the hair. So that's also a way that you can differentiate if that at all gets confusing. Oh, I would say do a heat protectant too if you can. I'm naughty and I don't come for me with that. I probably should, but sometimes I feel like the less products I use, the better. As much as I'm a glam girl, I like to simplify things, and I don't like to have like a billion products. Again, whole layer, we're doing upward. Once I get to the base, sometimes I twirl it more so that it gets tighter, closer to my head. Be careful that you don't burn yourself. And I find that what helps to get the hair out is if you kind of push on this a little bit, and then I kind of use my finger to pull it off the barrel. See what I mean about hair tutorials? And when I do this without any filming going on, everything works perfectly. Turns out magical. When I film, not the case. Because I have been not knowing what I really want to do with this channel, because I started it as a beauty channel to do like hair, makeup, fashion tutorials, because I am a fashion designer and I have over a decade's experience in doing these things for my fashion line. Usually I do the hair and makeup for my models, and I do it for myself when I model. And so I want to share some of it because it puts some extra pep in your step sometimes to do these things. If you're someone who likes it, not everybody has to do it. Not everybody gets enjoyment out of it. But if you're someone who does and you like to express yourself this way, it's fun to be able to do. It's like a self-care thing for me. But at the same time, I can't stand niching, and there are so many things that I want to share. Next layer, we're going down. So I actually need to make a thinner layer, I think, because I have to end it on an odd note. So I am going to add some more hair here. So that's like just something that you'll want to keep in mind, because I find that when you go upwards on the top, it doesn't look as, you want that top layer to be curving down. But I found that on my Instagram, when I stopped niching, so we just went up, so now we're going down. When I stopped niching is when I started growing. When I just started sharing whatever I felt like sharing and more aspects of my personality, that's when it started growing. But I'm so new to YouTube and I feel like people don't know me on here. So it's a little bit different. But I think that when it comes to making content, I want to be able to be multifaceted. I want my audience to be people who know me deeper than just hair tutorials. Okay, and then I'm going to split this into 2 sections. But sometimes I'm also like, it makes my life harder in some ways too, because I could just come on here and do a beauty tutorial and shut up. Maybe that would help me grow more. But for me, it's not about just growing. It's growing how I want to grow and creating a foundation that I'm going to be happy with and I'm not going to get bored of doing. So now we're going up, and then last layer, we're going to go down. You know what it makes me think of is I played violin when I was younger, and it makes me think of like the bow. Sometimes you're supposed to start on an upward bow stroke, and sometimes, most of the time, it's downward. Okay, last one on this layer, going up. The brush out is the most fun part. That's when the magic happens. Okay, last layer on this side, and we're going down. I love vintage glamour. Lately, I haven't been doing this quite as much. I used to be very into like 1950s glam. Going down. And we're almost done because this side of my head has far less hair. I had a phase where I actually was like really simple about hair and makeup and even my fashion. I like got into athleisure and started wearing sneakers and stuff like that. And I like doing that, but I'm starting to come back to partaking in glam. It's fun to be able to do both. You get to play with hot tools. Okay, we're almost done, and then we get to the magic part. I actually just made this last night. It's a sample. I like designing separates because I like the versatility and how it maximizes your closet. I have a longer skirt that when you wear it together, it literally looks like a beautiful gown in one piece. And then I'm wearing it with a mini skirt today that matches, and when you wear it together, it looks like a mini dress. But then also be able to wear all of those pieces separately with, a different bottom. I'll have to show you guys all of that stuff. But I love that you can go from formal to casual. 2 more layers to go. This process is a lot quicker when I'm not filming. I think we're on the last curl. And I feel like for this style, the more curls you do, the better. So even if you wanted to really take your time and do smaller sections and make sure they were really neatly done, I typically just don't have the patience to wait around like that. And we're done. I don't know what your feelings on this are, but whenever I see people curl their hair, they usually hit it with a spray right away. I like to wait for the hair to cool down. Because I feel like sometimes if you hit it and it's still hot with something cool and it's wet too, I actually kind of want it naturally to cool itself and not jolt it to wet coolness, because I feel like that can actually loosen your curl. So I wait a little bit, and then I'm going to give it a good spray. And then I'm going to wait a little bit and maybe give it another good spray. You guys, I'm so impatient. I just want to take it out. I think it's ready. I'm going to do one more spritz. I feel like a turtle when I do this. Is that weird? I feel like hairspray has a little hardness to it. So I feel like it gives my hair a little like hardened shell. And it makes me feel like a turtle, a glam turtle. Okay, I'm taking it out. I think it's going to be good. I think I actually did it this time. You know how many times I've tried to do hair tutorials? Different ones too. Every single time I'm like, I know you're either looking like Homer Simpson or Marge Simpson. And I'm like, why? Why when I do this without the cameras rolling, it looks great. And then I do it with the cameras to try to show people who have asked me that want to see it. And I end up looking like Marge or Homer or Lisa or Bart. I like their hair. I'm just saying that's not what I was going for. Annoying, I think, is that I want a different hairstyle every week. It's creativity. We shift and change. So sometimes this suits me, and then the next day it doesn't suit me. I'm in a different mood. You have different traits, and sometimes you have different concentrations of them throughout time. Oh, I'm gonna have to mute this. I'm just rambling about random shit. Ooh, it kind of looks cute like this. Oh my gosh, I kind of was obsessed with people who had curly hair. When I was younger, I thought it was so pretty because I'm from an era where I saw a lot of perms on pretty people. If you're from an era where you saw a lot of perms on pretty people, you're destined for greatness. You were meant to experience certain eras that are very inspirational, and then combine them with your own essence to create some of that vibe again today, because we desperately need it. Oh my god. Oh, what am I doing? my gosh, I thought I could handle smoking. I feel like it just made this so chaotic, but I think this is actually going to turn out. And I guess I could just mute the audio. I would say don't have oil on your hands because I do, because I just put my friend's oil on because it's my moisturizer. Ooh, maybe it's making this. This is actually going to end up being a Tony Rain ad again because I have a little Tony Rain on my body. All natural moisturizer, mostly organic. You got aloe, you got shea butter, you got other oils and things in there. It's amazing. But I'm like, oh, maybe it actually looks really good as a hair oil. Might be a hair oil too. I think it's a hair oil too. Do you see that? Oh no. Tony Rain, why do you keep blessing me though? You know when I put Tony Rain on, people thought I was putting makeup on my body. I'm like, I'm putting all natural skincare on my body. These are almost like all organic oils. Okay, this is actually shaping up really nice. I'm gonna hit it with this softer bristle. I think the Tony Rain did something with it. I think it's keeping it together. Ooh, have you guys seen the vintage hair nets on Etsy? I mean, they're not vintage. They look like vintage hair nets, but she makes them new and she puts rhinestones. I need to get one of those. And I find that you need some time with it too. Sometimes you have to keep brushing. That's why I'm saying this can be varying levels of time consuming depending on how picky you want to get with it. I like to make it bigger by doing some teasing. See, it's making it like, and then I'll go through with this again. But I think the Tony Rain, that's so funny. I did not mean to use it, but it just happened to be on my hands and my body. Don't use too much of it though. You don't want the oil to take out the curl, but you do want it to keep all the hairs together, and then it looks more refined and less messy. Sometimes I will shorten it by just taking the natural curl and curling it, and then you can pin it like this, and then it creates a shorter look. But if you do it, make sure that you pin it very securely so that it's not coming out. Okay, the magic moment. Rambling about random stuff. I back comb right here. A lot. I don't know if we hit this with a spray. I think I did it this time, you guys. I don't know. I'm kind of far from the screen. I will be very happy if I did this for you guys. And then I'll be ready to do another one that was asked recently that is like simpler. And I probably should have done that first. Ooh, the Tony Rain was like a component of making this look so shiny and beautiful. I actually switched to cheap shampoo and conditioner recently again because I was getting nostalgic for a shampoo that I used in college. Just the basic ass swab, you guys. And it's made my hair fucking beautiful. I used a rice bar for my hair, a rice bar shampoo thing. And I love that, but it took the curl out of my hair. My hair couldn't curl anymore. And it was like pin straight. It's beautiful if you want like a sleek look. It's the Viore Beauty. And it supports a great cause. I love their business, at least what I've seen of it. And I love supporting the women of the Red Yao tribe. But it just made my hair unable to curl. So I couldn't even do a style like this. It would just brush right out. It was insane. I've never had that before. For like a loose vintage style, this is what I would do. I think if you wanted to take it further and really shape it, you could add pins if you have more time. You could do things like this, add some pins, spray it again, add some heat to it, maybe blow dry it a little bit to set it exactly like how you want it to set. You could brush it even more, and brushing it more kind of makes it look all like one piece. You know, if you're quick on the go, you could do this fairly quickly. And if you wet set it super quickly, you just take it out and you get right to brushing. So maybe you like to listen to podcasts, or you like to scroll social media, or you like to listen to music around these times, or watch TV. You could put that on and do this at the same time and multitask that so it doesn't feel like you're spending time on it really. I like it. You guys have to review the footage to make sure. If you're here, you just watched my first hair tutorial that I had many failed attempts on. So thank you. I hope we stay together and that you will subscribe.